Mission Tactics podcast or CATS. I got a special guest today. I got my homie Julian, J Talks Credit. I'm gonna read his bio and we're gonna get straight into it. So Julian Pilate-Hutcherson is currently the founder and president of Take Flight Solutions. He has served his community as a credit expert, helping growing entrepreneurs grow their businesses by leveraging their credit. He grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area and graduated with a BS in Applied Physics from Morehouse College and a BS in Civil Engineering from the University of Notre Dame. Since leaving his corporate job as an engineer, he's dedicated his life to helping entrepreneurs in his community improve their credit, structure their businesses, build business credit, and obtain high-limit business funding. Welcome to the podcast, Julian. How you feeling, bro?
Thank you, man. That introduction was amazing. It's as if I wrote it myself, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I didn't even know you left the job. Congratulations on it,
man. Thank you, man. It was a huge jump.
Yeah,
man. It was something that had been dying inside of me for so long. I was working at a job that wasn't fulfilling. You know, working at a job where everybody around you just isn't happy. Everybody's just complaining, you know. Although I was making six figures, it was just like, to a point, how long am I going to be here? You know, how long am I going to be here? Because I've talked to people who are around me where they've been in the same position for 20 years longer than me, and they're still making the same amount of money.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And I just wasn't making an impact, so I was like, man, I got to go all the way in on this business, man.
Most definitely. We're going to tap into that. But before we even get into that, some people might be listening. They might be like, okay, we see him with the reels and things of that nature. Can you tell us who is Julian? Maybe where you grew up in and all that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Just to recap, man, I'm from San Francisco Bay Area in a city called Vallejo, which is about an hour south of Sacramento, about 30 minutes north of Oakland, San Francisco, all that area. 29 years old. Grew up thinking I was going to be an engineer. I was going to do nothing but just math, science, all of that. I love playing with Legos, love construction, all of that, right? And found out that this is not cut out to what I wanted to be, right? It's not what I wanted to do. So man, as I started getting some income with my engineering, I was like, man, this is something I need to be able to do something with my money. I need to do something with my money. So I started studying. About personal finance, started studying about investments. How do I make sure my money is built? How do I make sure that the money that I'm getting to this today is going to be here 20 years down the road? How do I make sure that my kids are going to be able to eat off of the money that I'm getting today, right? Because there's so many times we hear about people making all this money, but then blowing it because they don't know how to maintain it. They don't know how to grow it. Right. So I told myself, look, I'm in a great position right now. I'm in my early 20s, mid 20s. I'm getting paid six figures. I don't have a kid. I don't have a wife. I don't have a mortgage. Let me take advantage of this. Right. So started studying, found out about real estate, man. Like they say, I don't remember the statistics. I think it's like 75% of all millionaires own some type of real estate. And I said, okay, well, look, that's obvious the route that I need to take. So I started studying about that, podcasts similar to like Bigger Pockets, on blogs, forums, literally until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. I really got obsessed with it, right? And I told myself, hey, I got all this money saved up. Let me buy a multifamily property, single family, I don't care, right? Let me just buy something. But me being out here in California, we all know it's expensive as hell out here.
Oh, man, fast.
You feel me? And I know you know out there in the Northwest, it's the same way. So it's like me being 24, 25 years old, I had about $40,000, $50,000 saved up. Even if I drop that all on a down payment on a multifamily property, and I live out in a house hack it, for those people who don't know what house hacking is when you get a multifamily unit or some type of property, you live in one unit or you live in one room, rent out the other rooms or units so that all the rental payments pays for your mortgage. And at that point, you're technically living for free. Right. So I wanted to run that play. However, the numbers didn't make sense. I was going to drop $40,000, $50,000 on a property, but because the mortgage would be so high, the rental payments that I got consistently every month wouldn't even cover all the mortgage. So I was like, man, there's got to be a better way. So I started thinking about how to invest out of state, where in states like Georgia, Louisiana, South Carolina, where properties can go for 200K, right?
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, let me take a step further. How do I invest in these properties without using my own money? Right? So
Yeah.
I found out about people using credit,
Mm.
specifically business credit, business credit cards.
Mm.
And when I found out about that, I was like, bro, this is a whole new world. This is crazy, where people are literally buying 6 units, 7 units, 8 units, 20 unit apartment complexes without money out of their own pocket.
Yeah.
They're using lines of business credit for down payments on whether it might be hard money loans or any other type of real estate loans. They they use a credit to fund their rehab, increase the value of the house, right, or the property, and then refinancing it, right, getting cash back in a cash out refi, being able to pay themselves, pay back their credit cards, pay back all the loans, and they come up with a property with no money down for free. And I was like, bro, this is crazy. This is crazy. So I dove into the business credit world, and man, long story short, I found out there's a lot of stuff that is a lot of information that isn't given or isn't readily available for a lot of our people, especially people who look like us.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And I start looking back of all the people who don't know this information, right? And I'm thinking, okay, who am I to be able to get all this information and not lift as I climb?
Exactly.
Who am I to get to the next level, start getting all these lines of credit without showing other people how to do the same, how to start their own businesses, right? How to improve their own credit to be able to get access to lines of bank business credit, right? Because a lot of people think it's impossible to get, but it's a lot easier than a lot of people think. So
okay, most definitely. So when you first figured out about business credit, you're in the whole real estate thing, like, dang, how do I do it for free? There's got to be a better way. How's your personal credit profile looking like at that time?
At that time, it was really untouched, man. It was funny because I went through a funding company early on in my journey. Before I knew anything really about credit, I ran into a guy who ran a funding company. He said, hey, this is what you can do. We can get you all these credit cards and you can use the credit cards for the real estate. And I said, okay, bet, say less.
Yeah.
So I went to him. He ran up my credit, most of them on my personal credit, right?
Yeah.
Probably only got $3,000 on the business credit side, right? And then on top of that, after that, I only got, I would say, probably about $50,000, right? And then I got left with all these inquiries on my credit report that I didn't know how to remove. So I got stuck with all these inquiries, and all these little limits on my personal not my personal is cool, but on the business side, I got no limits. So I'm thinking, how are people getting these $20,000, $25,000 limits?
Yeah.
Right. So I started studying about that, and I realized it's really about it's different getting your lines of business credit, bank business credit. When I'm in this term, I'm talking about PGing my business credit. PG, for anybody who doesn't know, that means you're personally guaranteeing the funds that you're getting. Meaning the funds that I get, if I blow it and I don't pay it back and it defaults, I'm liable for it, right?
Exactly.
I'm liable for it. So so I figured out that it's not the same way. I can get these $15,000-$20,000 of credit on my personal side, but business is a different beast. You got to get your business structure correctly. Okay. You got to make sure your personal credit is even structured even better. It's just a lot of different things, man. So going back to your question, I had a lot of inquiries. I had higher credit utilization, but I didn't have any trade lines. I didn't have a lot of age on my credit. So I went ahead, applied for I went on my parents, I went on my mom and my grandmother's authorized user trade lines, right? I added primary trade lines. My favorite, and everybody needs to go today to apply for these primary accounts that I'm about to tell you about.
Perfect. Let's get it.
It is Rental Karma, Rent Reporters, and Credit My Rent. Okay. So we all know that our biggest expense, our living expense, is a lot of times it's our rent, it's our housing expenses, right?
Yeah.
So what sense does it make that an expense that we have to make every month doesn't get reported to our credit report? It don't make sense.
Yeah.
Right. But guess what? If we don't pay it, guess what happens? It gets reported on the credit report. If we don't pay that, right?
Yeah. And you're gonna be in the streets.
Hey, you're gonna be in the streets, right? So the beauty about these accounts that I just mentioned is that these accounts will force report your on-time monthly rental payments to your credit report. So now you have online pay, or you have on-time payments added to your credit report. You add another account, and the best part about it is you could backdate your rental payment 2 years. So now you have 2 years of history of a new account that has 100% on-time payment, and you got 2 years history, and you got another primary account on your credit report. But it's a cheat code. It's literally a cheat code, right? So I added those 3 accounts, removed inquiries. I removed about 10 inquiries off my credit report.
Can you talk about that process?
Yeah. So removing inquiries it's a game changer, y'all. It's a game changer. We can talk about why it's a game changer a little bit later, but we all know there's 3 major credit reporting agencies, right? We got Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. The easiest of the 3 is Experian. So if you have a inquiry on your credit report, right, and an inquiry is not attached to any open credit cards, you can get that removed. What you can do is pull your credit report, identify who gave you that inquiry, what date you got that inquiry, call Experian up on the phone, right? Get connected to the fraud department. We get connected to the fraud department. You want to make sure it's actually the fraud department. They might pass you on to like 3, 4, 5 different people, but you have to make sure you talk to the fraud department. When you talk to the fraud department, you're going to tell them that, hey, I was looking at my credit report and I noticed that there's some unauthorized inquiries that I didn't say, or there's unauthorized inquiries on my credit report, right? They're going to ask you, okay, did you do them? You say no. It's fraud. I need them off my credit report. What they're going to do is they're going to ask you, did you send an FTC report, right? They're going to ask you to send a police report. Say yes. Even though you didn't send one in, you don't need to send one in. Just tell them that you already did. They're going to say, well, I'm looking at it, I don't see it. What you can tell them is that, well, look, that's not my problem. I sent it in about 2 weeks ago. So if y'all don't have y'all stuff together, that's your problem, right? But I know I sent it in. They said, okay, well, I'm gonna look into it. So they're gonna put you on pause, right? Put you on hold. I don't know what they do in the back, but then they come back and they say, yo, it's good. So we got these inquiries removed. They'll be off in your credit report in 30 days. Is there anything else I need for you? Go off and name every single inquiry on your Experian credit report. Every single one of them. And within 48 hours, all those Experian inquiries are going to be removed from your credit report. So that's definitely a play right there. TransUnion and Equifax is very similar too. So, but instead of going ahead straight calling Experian, for TransUnion, what you need to do is write a letter. You need to write a letter to TransUnion saying, hey, TransUnion, there's unauthorized inquiries on my credit report. Then you list out all the TransUnion inquiries. Make sure that these inquiries are not attached to any open credit cards. I can't stress that enough. They have to be unattached. They have to be unattached, right? You named them all, right?